Soccer is the world's most popular sport, but millions of people watch matches every year without fully understanding what each player on the field is actually supposed to do. You hear terms like striker, winger, center back, and defensive midfielder all the time. But what do those positions actually mean? And why do some players seem to touch the ball constantly, while others spend most of the game waiting for one big moment? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to break down every major soccer position in the simplest way possible. And by the end, you'll never watch a match the same way again. Let's start with the easiest position to understand: the goalkeeper. This is the only player allowed to use their hands inside the penalty area. Their main job is simple: stop the ball from going into the net. Simple, right? Well, sort of. Modern goalkeepers do much more than just make saves. They're often responsible for starting attacks and organizing the defense. In practice, they're part goalkeeper, part defender, and part coach. Now let's move in front of the goalkeeper. These players are called defenders. Their job is to stop the other team from creating chances. The most common defenders are center backs. They're the big players in the middle of the defense. You know the type: strong, physical, and usually the first person running toward danger. If the opposing striker gets through, these are the players expected to stop them. Then you have fullbacks. These defenders play on the left and right sides of the field. Here's where it gets interesting. Fullbacks don't just defend anymore. Modern fullbacks attack constantly. One minute they're making a tackle, the next minute they're sprinting down the wing helping create a goal.
Now let's move into midfield. This is where games are often won and attack. Think of them as the engine of the team. Without them, everything falls apart. First, you have defensive midfielders. Their job is to protect the defense. They break up attacks, win the ball back, and keep things organized. In theory, they don't always get the glory. In practice, many coaches consider them one of the most important players on the field. Then there are central midfielders. These players do a little bit of everything: pass, defend, attack, repeat. They're constantly involved. If soccer were a group project, the central midfielder would be the person doing most of the work. Next comes the attacking midfielder. This player operates closer to the opponent's goal. Their job is to create chances. They're the creative thinkers, the players who spot passes that nobody else sees.
Now, let's talk about wingers. These players usually stay near the sidelines. They're fast, they're direct, and they're often the most exciting players to watch. A winger's job is to stretch the defense, beat defenders one-on-one, and create opportunities. Sometimes they'll cross the ball. Sometimes they'll cut inside and shoot. Either way, defenders usually hate playing against them. And finally, we reach the striker, the player everyone notices. The striker's main job is simple: score goals. That's it. Of course, there's more to it than that. They have to make intelligent runs, create space, and finish chances under pressure. But at the end of the day, goals are what they're judged on. No pressure. Now here's the part many new fans don't realize. Even though every position has a specific role, soccer is constantly changing. Defenders attack, attackers defend, midfielders do everything. This sounds simple. It isn't. The best teams are filled with players who can adapt and perform multiple jobs at once. That's what makes soccer so fascinating. 11 players, one ball, and 11 completely different responsibilities working together. So the next time you watch a match, pay attention to what happens away from the ball. Watch the defenders organize. Watch the midfielders control the game. Watch the wingers create space. And watch the striker wait for that one moment that can change everything. Because once you understand the positions, soccer becomes a completely different sport to watch, and honestly, a much more interesting one. If you enjoyed this simple breakdown and want more football explanations that make complicated topics easy to understand, subscribe for more videos.